Hey guys, Sizzling the Feet back with the uploads. I know it's been a long time since I made an actual video, but now we're back, and we are going to be discussing the state of Shindo Life. Is this game still worth playing? Now, I know I might get much hate from this video, but just keep in mind this is my honest review and my own personal opinion on if it's worth playing or not. Today, I'm going to review all of the game modes, as well as things I like about the game and things I dislike about the game. Now, without further ado, let's discuss. Is Shindo Life worth playing? First, let me tell you a little bit about the game itself. The original Shinobi Life 2 was released on January 20th, 2020 by Rail Games, intended to be an RPG game, but later came out with many other modes, which made the game diversified. I started playing around September, and I immediately found it interesting. The amount of things you could do in this game, the customization, the Naruto characters, realistic moves, and all much more really made me enjoy the game. The game was rapidly rising in numbers, welcoming new players and thriving, until the week of November 19th. This is when the game was taken down for many copyright violations. Rail Games had to revamp the game and remove pretty much all Naruto related content. Of course, the moves and Genkai were still there, but everything was renamed to not match Naruto at all. So, what has been changed from the original game? That's what we're going to find out as I explain the different modes this game has. Why not start off with the most common mode in the game, RPG? This mode has the biggest player base and the place where you go to make your own character in the game and level him up by earning XP points through various mission types. You could also level up using training logs, which is a method of AFK farming. In this mode, you can acquire almost any jutsu that the game has if you're patient enough. There are rarities of items and jutsu spawns, and they give a time when they will spawn, which is where the RPG aspect comes into play. You can also acquire a variety of tailed beasts, just like there are in Naruto. The great thing about this mode is the amount of customization your character has, and the amount of jutsu you can obtain. There are many negatives on the other hand. For starters, people can be extremely toxic in this mode. Many players, especially the higher level players, love to run around and just troll you while they're max tailed beast states. They would never stop annoying you and killing you as a means to frustrate you. Besides the players though, RPG as a whole mode isn't really rewarding. When you hit level 1000, there isn't much to do. There isn't a point in resetting your rank and getting more cap space just to go back down. The only reason I see people doing this is to play Arena X, another popular game mode amongst players. Besides this reason though, there isn't much to do except missions, help your friends level up, and get every jutsu there is. With that being said, this game mode isn't much fun after you do everything there is to do. I'll give RPG a 5 out of 10 rating, just because of the lack of content and things you could do. So with that out of the way, let's look at the next game mode I'll be talking about. Arena X is a game mode where you take your character in RPG and you battle it out with other people's characters. This game mode has different game options, ranging from free-for-all, elimination, where if you die, you are out until the last one on a team stands, and just regular deathmatch with teams. This mode is pretty cool. Playing as your RPG character against others is very fun, especially with friends. If you play this with friends, it can be enjoyable, but don't get the wrong idea. This mode is where people spam very overpowered moves in Genkais, or bloodlines if you want to call it. Most of the time, it's unbearable with how much people spam Sharingans and Renegans. And when you're in a team setting, people can easily kill you in less than 15 seconds if all of them have Sharingans and spam moves like Shizui's Kodo Matsukami or Itachi's Tsukiyomi. Many people like myself avoid this game mode just for these reasons. Now, I'm not saying this mode is bad, because it certainly isn't. It's just a mode where you can easily spam moves, and the people that don't have the OP stuff will get destroyed easily. It is super annoying just facing people who spam their OP Genkais just to win, and it doesn't give much enjoyment because of this. I give this mode a 6 out of 10, and that's being generous. If you play with friends, maybe it can be somewhat fun, but it won't take away from the spammers. Next, we have Arena mode. I'm sad to say that because of copyright issues, this game mode was removed from the game, but not entirely. I'll explain that later. It was by far my favorite game mode. This mode was a mode where you could spend coins to buy Naruto characters and fight it out in an arena. This game was very fun. It wasn't as spammable as Arena X is. Fighting with my favorite characters like Minato were very enjoyable. The amount of combos you could do with these characters were insane. I mostly used Minato and Might Guy just because they had some of the best combos in the mode. In this mode, there are also these blue coins which you could spend to use on skins for your character as well, which is a cool implementation. And it isn't like you need good characters in this mode either. I've seen people use the regular Kid Naruto in the game and they would dominate. Except for the Hashirama spammers, this game was very diverse in which character they would choose. Overall, this game mode barely had any flaws and was an enjoyable experience that I would truly miss about the game. I'll give this game mode a 9 out of 10 overall. Now, at the time of this recording, Arena has recently come back. Instead of Naruto characters though, they use your RPG character, and what you could do is you can buy the old Arena characters' movesets. So if you buy Namikaze or Senko in the new game, you will have the old Minato's moveset from the original game. Although just like Arena was, to unlock these characters you have to spend your coins from RPG. The blue coins are still there though, but I haven't played the mode much since the legit kit just came out. So I think they're used for cosmetics or maybe movesets. I'm not completely sure. But with that being said, the new Arena mode seems very promising as well. But for now, we'll honor the old Arena in these next couple of seconds. Rest in peace to Arena mode. The next mode was probably the one everyone was hyped to get into. Story mode was a revolutionary part of this game. This mode was also sadly removed due to the copyright claims as well. Every day people kept asking, how do I get into story mode? Story mode was a closed community game mode, meaning that only a select people can enter through doing application or by entering tryouts. This mode was basically like a Naruto story in the game, where it involved various types of role playing. The way it would work is, you submit an application to get in, and if you're one of the lucky people to get accepted, you could join the mode. I won't go over everything this mode has, but only the key points. You start off as an academy student, attending school every day and only being limited to small missions like helping people around the village. To advance, you must take the Genin exams, just like in the actual Naruto series. If you fail these exams, you can get kicked out of the community, so make sure to pass. Then there's the Chunin exams, and then you could be a medical ninja or a police force member, an Ambu, Jonin Sensei, and all the roles that Naruto offers. There's also village wars, raids, and many other things to offer. I tried to submit applications, but never got in. Although from all the videos I watched, it looked like a very fun mode. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10, just because of all the things you could do in that game and the interaction with other players. Now, I'll be discussing these two game modes back to back. Shindo World and World X are two game modes that have been added to the game that many players were very excited for. These modes are PvP based modes, where you do missions against other players from different villages. They took many of these missions from the story mode. The difference between these modes is that Shindo World is the casual version, where you can use your RPG character to do the missions. There are some solo missions, but in order to do the PvP ones, you need to make a squad and queue up on a spot. World X on the other hand is not with your RPG character, but rather with a randomly generated character that you receive. With this randomized character, they randomize your elements and Genkai. World X was a game mode that was centered to be a hardcore game mode, where if you die, you get a chance of your player being wiped. With the character you get, you need to level him up from the bottom, just like an RPG, except these missions give you 4 times the amount of XP you get in RPG, which is pretty cool. Now for what both modes suffer from. First, there is absolutely no balance system in this mode at all. When I first started playing, I was at level 100 going up against level 1s, and it was very unfair. I then proceeded to come back a couple days later, only to find out lots of players were already level 500, and they would overpower me. There's no system where low levels can fight low levels, and high levels can fight high levels. This system made it unfair for the lower level players who have to constantly face higher levels than them. There's also mission types. There are certain missions like retrieving scrolls and destroying shipments that are blatantly unfair. You could be all the way in the Mist Village and have to get a scroll from the leaf, but since the scroll is near the leaf, they get to it first before we even get there, and the mission's already done. There are unfair positions for the missions. One village has to travel super long just to go to the mission area, but the other village has the mission right there close for them, and it's super unfair. This isn't related to the mode, but while we're on the topic, there's also an excessive amount of invisible walls, not just in this mode, but in the whole game. It gets annoying when you have to take double the amount of time you need to get there just because you have to go to the complete opposite way to avoid the invisible walls. Because of these issues, the game mode is very unplayable and just seems blatantly unfair. I'm apologizing for such a low rating, but I'm giving both modes a 4 out of 10. Shindo World might even be worse, since people can spam their tailed spirits and be max level. If they want this mode to be better, they need to address all of these issues listed, or else the modes can die out quickly. Now, another game mode that we have is War Mode. There isn't much to talk about in this game mode. This mode is for people who are trying to get the 6-path 10-tailed beast, or the 10-tailed spirit. To get this, however, you have to go through levels of mobs. This mode is similar to Call of Duty Zombies, where you have to fight waves of enemies, except the zombies are just white Zetsus. After going through about 20 or 30 rounds, there's a chance of the beast spawning, but let me just say that the Zetsus are harder than the beast itself. The beast barely attacks back. You'll definitely lose to the Zetsus if you don't have enough people playing. The beast is cool and all, but I don't think you should go through the hassle of doing War Mode to obtain it when you could just get another tailed spirit. I would rate it a 4 out of 10, not because the mode is bad or anything, just because it's really just a mode to get the 6-pack 10-tailed spirit, and the Zetsus are harder than the beast itself. Apparently, you get a bunch of XP from this though, so you can use it to level up faster. The last mode we'll be covering is competitive mode, one that they just recently added as of the time I'm recording this video. If you remember arena mode, they had a competitive mode to the side where you can do 1v1s, 2v2s, and 3v3s. This is basically like that except with an RPG character. The cool thing about this mode is that when you win matches, you can see how many wins you have on the side, so people will know how good you are at the mode. There isn't much difference from Arena X except that it's ranked and you can play with your friends in a squad separately and try to get as many wins as you can. The bad thing about this mode is the wait times though. It takes legit forever to even queue up with people. Sometimes you won't even queue up at all. It's almost an unbearable wait because so many people are trying to play. So you're very lucky even if you get a game in. I'll give this mode a 6.5 out of 10 since I gave Arena X a 6 out of 10. This isn't much better. Still a great concept though. So this is it for all the game modes that are currently out for the game. You can see that there's a ton of problems that need to be fixed and addressed in order to make this game the best it can be. Now, before I make my decision, let me just say that this game is an amazing game. This game blew me away when I first played, and the amount of dedication that Rel Games and his brother have is insane to me. These guys truly love their community and want to make the game as fun as possible. These guys are seriously one of, if not the best developers on Roblox. The amount of time it takes to add things and fix issues is incredible to me. They can legit make an update in 1 or 2 days and add a game mode in less than a week, which amazes me. Rel Games is seriously a great developer and shouldn't receive an ounce of hate. And now, for the decision that you've all been waiting for. Is Shindo Life worth playing right now? In my honest opinion, considering everything I just said, it isn't worth playing. Now, before you spam my comments and send hate, hear me out. With all of the things that I mentioned about the broken modes and glitches and spammable moves, the game modes are broken. I appreciate Rel Games grinding to get the new game modes out for the community to play, but instead of doing that, they should focus on improving their current ones instead of adding more. World X and Shindo World are the most important ones that they need to fix, because with RPG and Arena X, it's expected that it will be kind of unfair due to people getting the best Genkais and beasts. But the one problem they have is balancing the game. That's the biggest problem. Having level 1s go against level 500 pluses in World X is just blatantly unfair. They're on the right track with the Bloodlines or Genkai. They're making the lower tier Genkais get buffs, but even that isn't still enough for people who things like Shisui, Obito, and Itachi Sharingans are just overpowered. These 3 Bloodlines are probably the most broken ones in the entire game. Another very big problem I have with this game is resetting. Resetting your rank and going back to level 0 to me is very pointless at times. Basically, how this would work is once you reach level 1000, you're allowed to reset all your stats and levels, but you would keep your Genkai and things you unlocked. You would go back to level 0, but the next time you hit level 1000, you would get an increase in cap of your stats. To me, this is very pointless, due to the fact that you don't get much reward from this. And what's even more dumb is when CC was still around, tryouts would be held, and you had to be a certain rank to enter. even though CC doesn't even use your RPG character. Even now, I'm in the new Haze Sovereignty, and they made an announcement saying that you must be D3 to enter the tryouts. To get from F0, which is the first rank, to S3, which is the highest rank, you have to reset your character a total of 16 times. You know how much time that takes and how boring the journey is? You would basically have to just grind missions every day for days and weeks and even months just to reset every single time you hit level 1000. But this argument can easily be countered with, well, that's just giving an incentive for the players to play the game. And that statement is somewhat correct. The problem with it is that you have to grind an RPG, a game mode that lacks stuff even to do. In my opinion, I don't want to just grind missions in RPG every single day on this game just to hit level 1000, just to reset and repeat the process 15 more times. Look, I'm not one to say that you aren't allowed to play a game. That isn't what the video is about. I'm just saying that in my opinion, it isn't worth playing for all of these reasons I've listed. The only reason I play is to record content and to see what they're going to do in the future. Don't get me wrong, just because I made this video, it does not mean I won't be playing it. I'm excited to see what this game has in store for them in the future. The question is, will they bring back CC, or will Shindo mode or Shindo Generations prove to be the mode that everyone comes back to? Aside from that, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching until the end. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm Sizzling, and thank you for watching. Is Shindo Life worth playing?